Squishy Finn. Remember Sarah the Squishy Finn? She asked if she could come and stay for a week with me in Broadstairs, which meant I had to keep at bay all the wrongness going on around me at this time, like all the drugs and all the sex and all the fucking crime. Poor Sarah really likes me, more than the mank like smoking skunk. So she was utterly disgusted when the Johnny full of spunk I was holding after shagging her got slapped across her cheek. I think she might have realised I might not be the fella she should seek for a loving relationship based on honesty and care, because I was in fact just a nasty man and not a hairy bear. She went back home to Finland, probably less glad we'd been acquainted. She'd had some proper fish and chips, but knew our love was tainted. I didn't hear from her again. She'd realised it best not to pursue the man who slapped her round the face with a Durex full of goo. All heart. Who says that years of taking drugs will lead to an early grave? My mind was clearly perfectly sound when I decided I would shave the hair around my outer chest to form the shape of a love heart. Hey, check me out, you jealous fucks. I'm a walking work of art. Emily. Emily is another girl from this time that is definitely worth praising, purely on the single fact her pussy was amazing. She had that sort of teenager attitude and called everyone a mug, but that was easy to ignore because her pussy was so snug. Plus she was up for having a threesome with both me and my friend, which was quite a fun experience that I was happy to attend. Unfortunately, this Emily, we had to force to go, because she started being silly and become a spiteful hoe. She pretended she was pregnant because she got a bit obsessed. I knew that she was bluffing, but my mate got really stressed. So that was it for Emily. We had to send her packing. Her attitude was pretty shit, but her cunt was fucking cracking. Cracking the cupboard. There I was, with my mate, working for Sky in Dover, when a familiar-looking black lady started walking over. Turns out it was Jenna's mum, who now was back on smack. She said her family had disowned her and she needed £10 to get some crack. Of course, not one to miss an opportunity, my buddy decided he would stitch me, his bestest buddy, up with this smackhead bitch. He pulled a tenner out his pocket and handed it to Jenna's mum. He said she could spend it all on crack, so long as I could come. But I made him come with us too. So the three of us then went to go and see the crack dealer, where my mate's money would be spent. By gum, the things that I used to want to do to you, Jenna's mum kept saying to me as we set off to somewhere new. We were actually on our way to all go and fucking sit in a cupboard under some stairs in some flats to have a hit. So there I was with my mate, Jenna's mum, and her supplier. I'd like to say that this was fun, but that would mean that I'm a liar, because to be honest, I weren't that happy in the cupboard smoking crack. We hadn't got our deals for Sky and really needed to go back. So we left Jenna's mum and her crackhead mate to smoke their dirty rocks. If we'd hung around much longer, they would have tried to suck our cocks. What a crazy hour that was, I thought as I went back to selling Sky. Oh shit, yeah, I'm signing someone up. I must be fucking high. Silly me, I went off into a little world all of my own. I said to my customer, who surely must have known she was dealing with a salesman who was now completely wired. In fact, if we keep smoking crack at work, I think we may get fired. Maria 3. The gangbang. Why, the mank would say. And on this occasion you couldn't blame him, because our pal had phoned Maria. Now, unfortunately, I can't name him, but it was he who got her around for the gangbang, or Maria the Slut, part 3, which involved him, the mank, Maria, a glass bottle, and unfortunately me. I saw things that night, I have to say, I wish I'd never saw, like both my pal spit roasting Maria, the dirty slutty whore, and the moment I looked at the mank whilst Maria sucked my cock, when I saw him with a beer bottle and a face of total shock. It was then I saw the contents of this particular bottle of Bud, and it wasn't tasty Budweiser, but Maria Sluthor's blood. I had to vacate to my bedroom to stop from being sick. But I pulled myself together and for the sake of my hard dick got right back in the action and gave Maria such a bumming. Even Maria, who's had 6 million cocks, shouted, "Oh my God, I'm fucking coming." Maybe, though, I bummed her too hard. And all that really gained us was a lady who was now developing signs of a prolapsed anus. Then, as I pulled my cock out of her bumhole, some of her shit began to dollop. So I chucked a wet cloth at her and said, "Clean up that shit, you dirty trollop." We now had a bottle full of blood and patches where she'd shat. Thus, this was to be the final time Maria would be visiting our flat. How awful. How awful was a girl we met whilst drinking down at Harper's. My mate spunked in her face. Then decided he would scarp her. She looked upset with her spunky face, so I thought I'd help the issue by sticking on it little squares of ripped off bits of tissue. This cheered her up a little bit, so I got her a glass of water. She said I could stick my cock in her, so I thought I ought to. How Awful made a lot of noise when she was in my bed, but the best thing about How Awful was in the morning when she said, "I'm not quite sure what happened last night. I was drunk, so could you tell?" Why, yes, indeed. My mate spunked in your face, which didn't go down well. Then I stuck my willy in your minge, but you consented, so it was lawful. "Oh, my God," came the response. "How absolutely awful." "Moo moo oink." "Moo," said Richard. "Oink," said Kate. But were Richard and Kate demented? No, moo moo oink, the board game, was what we'd all invented.